Thank you so much. Amir Oren always brings us interesting insights. We're going to move on now. The U.S. Air Force has confirmed to I-24 News that Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates are participating with Israel in a joint military exercise in Nevada called Red Flag. Israel does not have diplomatic ties with Pakistan nor the UAE. Israel had declined to comment on whether its pilots would be involved in drills with those pilots. Our senior defense correspondent Shai Ben-ari has that story.
The U.S. Air Force has confirmed to I-24 News that the air forces of Pakistan, the UAE, and Israel are all taking part in the same exercise being conducted at Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, known as Red Flag 16-4. The story was originally reported by Israeli daily Haaretz, but this is the first official public confirmation that Pakistan and the UAE are taking part in the current drill, along with Israel, which began on August 15th and will end on August 26th. Previous evidence included pictures taken by private aviation enthusiasts. Israel had refused to comment on the participation of other countries, while Pakistan and the UAE have also refrained from statements on the matter. The U.S. and Spanish air forces are also taking part. Israel has no official ties with Pakistan, a nuclear-armed state with a strong Muslim identity. There are very discreet ties between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, which do not constitute full diplomatic relations. As part of the Red Flag exercise, combat is simulated, with U.S. planes making up the aggressor force and the other participating nations making up the defending force, meaning Israel, Pakistan, and the UAE are playing on the same team, so to speak. A U.S. Air Force officer described the exercise as providing, quote, a forum for valuable cross-talk between services, as well as coalition partners. Israel, Pakistan, and the UAE have all taken part in the Red Flag drill in previous years, but this is the first occasion that all three have participated together.
Joining me to talk more about this is our senior defense reporter, Shai Ben-ari. Shai, thanks for being here. That was a great report. Will Israeli pilots actually then be taking part in this drill on the same side with the Pakistanis and the UAE pilots?
That's actually the idea. This drill is supposed to simulate combat with two teams, really, you could say. There's an aggressor force, which is actually made up of U.S. planes, and the defending force is made up of planes from all the participants, including, of course, the UAE, Israel, and Pakistan, as well as Spain, and also American planes. They will be essentially fighting on the same team, defending a strategic position against the aggressive force. This was initially reported by Haaretz, it has to be said, but what's new here is the confirmation that we've received from the U.S. Air Force that this is actually happening. It was previously based on circumstantial evidence, sort of reports and photos on blogs, but this confirmation now removes any ambiguity, and that is important because the removal of any sort of ambiguity or unclearness is, I would say, inconvenient for both Israel as well as Pakistan and the UAE, who would, I would think, want to keep this on the down low. We are still awaiting a response following this confirmation from the Israeli military to see how they react to this, and I think that's going to be interesting.
Do you believe that this shows there's been a kind of thaw, even if it's slow, between Israel and some of its neighbors?
In the case of the UAE, it's known that there is an improvement in diplomatic relations. There still aren't formal diplomatic relations, but a certain facility has been opened in Abu Dhabi in relation to renewable energy, and that seems to signify a certain warming of relations there. As relates to Pakistan, there are some perhaps mutual interests, but no real warming of ties, I would say. It's interesting in that case. One of the reasons for this participation of all these countries may be the rumored involvement of the F-35, the stealth fighter, which of course everybody is very curious about in this drill. That's not confirmed, but that may be the reason that they decided to overcome the difficulties.
Is this a bit of a sensitive issue, given Israel's ties with India, that it might be involved in this, drill with Pakistan?
Right. That's one of the reasons, I believe, for the ambiguity. India is a strategic partner of Israel with strengthening ties, especially since the new Indian Prime Minister has come into power. We're seeing a real focus on this, and I would imagine that the Indians are not very happy about these revelations. In this context, next month, Israeli pilots are actually being sent to India for a sort of training mission after Indian air crews were here in Israel, perhaps meant to signify that that is still a very critical relationship for Israel and that this cooperation with Pakistan on a certain level isn't too significant.
Great. Thanks so much. That's Shai Ben-ari, our senior defense reporter.